going to be talking about a lot of the teams that you just brought up. Let's get into the games that we have for this week, because I know we're going to get back to the Bronco game because that's not the end of it, but we have some other things that we need to get out of the way first. Starting off Thursday Night Football, I'll give everybody a score update afterwards, but let's go ahead and tell everybody who we picked. We make our picks before the game, so I know that we started right as kickoff was going on, but we were both on the Lions previously, and I'm going to look up and see what the score is now. But what was your thought process behind the Lions? And let's actually, before we get into the thought process, let's go back to that Thanksgiving game again. Let's go back to last week because the Chicago Bears, as much as they did the right thing by getting rid of Matt Eberflus, there's been so much that's come out in the recent times, but also they were the physical embodiment of what he did on the sidelines. You were literally like, are you going to fire him after the Hail Mary? No. Are you going to fire him after the 50-yard run at halftime? No. Are you going to fire him at the blocked field goal against the Packers? No. Are you going to fire him against the Vikings when he loses in overtime? No. It's going to be the timeout that he didn't call on a Thanksgiving game that nobody thought you had any chance of being even close in. Now, I get it. It's the worst coaching decision that I've ever seen, ever in my life. Only time that I've ever actually – I was coming out of my soup coma. I was like soup, beer. I was done for pretty much the whole third and fourth quarter. I was actually just going into it because I slept through the Cowboys game, but I was like, they have a timeout, right? And I'm getting comfortable, and I'm looking. They still have a timeout? Why is he not calling the timeout? I want to go to sleep. Call the timeout and kick the field goal.
The fact that the Bears had that little offensive production in the first half, like I thought 9.5 was the easiest fucking bet of all time. Like I seriously did. That's why I lost last week. Unfortunately,
that's why you picked up the one loss.
Like that stung because I was like, damn, this is so unfortunate. But look, the news that keeps coming out more and more is like Bears fans got to be sick to their fucking stomachs because Jim Harbaugh apparently went out and said that he wanted to be a Chicago Bear head coach. He wanted to coach Caleb Williams, and you decided to not pull the trigger on Eberflus. So you waited 10 games and had Eberflus draft his guy and Caleb Williams, and then fire him. Jimmy, do you know the cycle that the Bears have been on?
Yeah, no, I think I brought it up.
Have you seen the video?
Up on a few. Yes, I have seen the video. I brought that up on a few different times where it goes all the way back to Lovie Smith because Lovie Smith was 10-6. That was their last successful season. And they fired him the next year. The GM did, and then it started the whole.
No. So what happened was Lovie Smith brought in Jay Cutler, right? Jay Cutler. They go 10-6. They go on this run. They fire Lovie Smith. They bring in a new head coach. Well, that new head coach was John Fox. Guy who got fired for 3 days before the Broncos fired him with Peyton Manning. They bring him in. Well, Jay Cutler wasn't John Fox's guy. So that they I forgot who the next quarterback did. Maybe it was Trubisky was the next quarterback did.
No, it wasn't. It was. I mean, they had Glennon. It was the Glennon Trubisky thing.
It was Glennon Trubisky thing. And then with Trestman, where Trestman got fired, and well, Trubisky wasn't the guy that the next coach came in.
Nagy
didn't draft. Nagy didn't draft Trubisky. The last guy did. So he just gave. So they gave. Or Nagy drafted Trubisky, then got fired.
No, Nagy drafted Fields.
Either way. Quarterbacks, the head coaches that they hire didn't draft the quarterbacks that they're
no, exactly, and they're still not doing that. And guess what? The GM's going to get fired next season.
And frankly, apparently Bezos wants to buy the team, and the owner went on social media and said, "We're not selling the team. We're not selling the team. We're not selling the team." And that was the rumor out there. And I
could hear Big Cat's voice you can just sell the team, make your money, and sell the team. They don't even. Here's the thing, They don't even watch football on Thanksgiving. The family that owns the Bears does nothing football related on Thanksgiving because it's a family holiday and the Bears are still a family-run business. Yeah. You know who else is? I guess they're not necessarily a family-run business anymore, but the Packers are doing business on Sundays. And I said this on whatever other show I was on this week. Both of them. You are a football team. You work Thanksgiving. You work Sundays. You work Christmas. You work New Year's. Those are non-negotiables.
It's the worst part about being in sports. I know that all too well. I've missed weddings because of work. I've missed fucking birthdays. I've missed Father's Day, Mother's Day, July 4th because I had to work. That's the world of sports, unfortunately. And Chicago just not done that. I just find it so interesting because I think it was Dan Orlovsky said this, or maybe it was Marcus Spears. The Bears are not going to go for a home run hire. They're going to hire somebody. They'd be like, well, why do they do that? Nagy was a CFL head coach. Right? Eberflus was the defensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts. I'm sorry, have we ever talked about the Colts being a premier defense in the NFL in the last 10 years? No. They were a middle-of-the-road defense, but not a premier defense of the league, right? if you're Ben Johnson, because we'll bring it back to the Lions here. If you're Ben Johnson, why the fuck would you go? Why the hell would you go to the Bears?
He did say that. I mean, he did say that what Caleb Williams showed, that's not one of the teams that he would say no to, because Ben Johnson's come out and said if the right team isn't offering, he's just going to stay. That's not one of the teams he would say no to.
And you know who that right team is?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's on the bottom right hand of the screen.
Oh, the Cowboys.
No, it's the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, I don't think that we're going to fire Zach Taylor in enough time, honestly.
And then you're Matt Eberflus 2.0.
No, when we're talking about the Bears, it hurts more because I see the same things in the Bengals. And I got the rundown yesterday. Our GM literally has let every successful all-pro player or Pro Bowl player that we've had over the last 5 years walk away. And I'm seeing very similar trends to the Chicago Bears. And it just makes me very sad.
And why I'm so confident in this is because what Ben Johnson is doing with Jared Goff will be fucking on steroids with Joe Burrow. Okay? Like Jared Goff is a good quarterback. He is a very, very solid quarterback, doesn't make mistakes, knows who to get the ball to, and knows things. Who does that better than anybody in the league? Joe fucking Burrow. So I think that based upon the rumors I heard with the Lions, I think Ben Johnson will wait until Zach Taylor's gone. I'm dead serious. If it's not this offseason, then he returns to Detroit. Because I don't think he wants to deal with the shit show in Chicago because he plays it twice a year. He doesn't want to deal with that. I don't think he wants to go to Dallas if they get rid of Holmgren or not Holmgren, fucking McCarthy. I think that is the number one team that he's guys at. Is he's not going to Jacksonville? Maybe Jacksonville's the other one because of Lawrence, but Lawrence can't stay healthy because the poor guy got his head taken off.
That was the dirtiest hit that I've seen in years. Good on the NFL for suspending that guy 3 games. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. But like, if you're the Detroit Lions, and I will continue going back into this game, this is a championship ready team. This is a championship ready team, and they lost their best pass rusher, and they've added a guy that wreaked havoc against them for so long with the Packers, and fucking what's his name? Smith. What's his
Zadarius Smith.
Zadarius Smith. There's Zadarius Smith. Packers team are very, very good. I knew that they're going to beat Miami last week. I knew that they're a very, very good football team, and frankly, this division is a lot better than people are giving credit to because Minnesota's very good, Green Bay's very good, Detroit's very good. All those teams are very, very teams that you don't necessarily want to face in the playoffs, and I just think that obviously we're watching this game, but I thought about this before, but like Detroit is just a step above. Right now. Detroit is a step above them. The Green Bay is a contending team, but they're not a favorite like Detroit in this area. They're a step below, and that's no slight to them because right now Jordan Love is playing out of his mind, and they have a really, really good identity with Josh Jacobs and obviously Jaden Reed and Musgrave or Tucker Kraft and company at the tight end position. Well, they have a very, very good identity that LaFleur is building, and I think that they should be very, very happy with being a playoff team and trying to sneak up on a team in playoffs. So I'll just take Detroit here. I'm not like I said, Detroit's a Super Bowl favorite for me right now. I think they're the best team in football. So I will continue riding this team.
I was thinking when I was making my pick, I was trying to lean towards the Packers because I figured that one of us would be on the Lions, and I wanted to use this game as a way to get it back. I don't see Dan Campbell with the way that he's coached this team this season. They're not going to fall in a division game, especially at home. They know how important this home field advantage is, and when we get to one of our games coming up, we're going to talk about the other team that they're competing for that home field advantage. If it goes through Ford Field, Detroit should be in the Super Bowl. I'm knocking on wood. I'm doing all my juju stuff. I know Lions fans hate me right now, but that is the truth. Looking at it as objectively as possible without any biases. If I was just looking to make a smart pick right now, the Lions would be the team. If they have home field advantage, that's who I would pick as well. So I was on them, and they are currently leading start of the third quarter, just getting underway. So Green Bay will have the ball, but they're up 17-7 right now over the Packers. So they're still handling business. Looks like they should be able to take care of things. Everything always gets weird. Thursday nights are a little bit funny that way, but I guess we're going to stick it out with the NFC North, and we're going with the number one team that we both had. Moving forward, the Falcons and the Vikings. This game is interesting, and I put it on here because we had to pick an extra game up with the Broncos having a bye. I put it on here mainly because of what happened last week. Kirk Cousins is I really don't know what that whole
She's
situation is.
so
Maybe
poor.
the Falcons knew a little bit more than what everybody else did. It's starting to become a little bit more apparent why they drafted Michael Penix, because the question now becomes when, if ever, do the Falcons move from Kirk Cousins to Michael Penix Jr.?
I'm surprised it hasn't happened already.
I was
Like,
interested to see where you were on that. I said I don't know if it was going to happen, but as I sit here and think about it, it seems like it's closer and closer.
I sat here and talked about during the draft show when we talked about the draft, saying Kirk Cousins has 2 or 3 more years of prime football, and Michael Penix won't play. I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. And I think the Falcons are even happier that Michael Penix is still in their system. I don't know how good he's going to be because he kind of struggled against us when he came in relief. But I don't know. It's 2 teams here in Minnesota and Atlanta where Darnold's obviously had a great year, and no one thought that this would happen. But 2 rookie quarterbacks in McCarthy and McPenix that everyone thought at some point obviously this would be their team, right? Everyone thought it would be their team, and 2 different sides of the coin. Darnold is showing that he's still a good quarterback in this league and under a good system, and Kirk Cousins on the flip side is not anymore. And oh, man, Minnesota I think Minnesota really truly has their identity written down. And I think when you get to these week 14 games, 15, 16, up until the end of the regular season, you find out who has identities, who doesn't. And Minnesota realized Aaron Jones is really running the ball really, really well. They get Justin Jefferson in space. There's not a single soul that can guard him one-on-one in the National Football League, and including Pat Surtain, definitely not Levi Wallace in that conversation.
Oh, please, God, no. Please, God, no.
And their defense has really, really vastly improved, and I've been very, very impressed too. So there's a lot of good things for the Vikings right now going for them. That Atlanta, Kirk Cousins has more weapons. I mean, maybe not as the best weapons he's ever had in his career, but a lot more diverse level weapons than he's had in his career. Bijan Robinson is one of the best running backs he's ever had lined up behind him. Outside,
they don't give him the football.
They don't give him the football.
They don't give him the ball. They don't give the ball to Drake London. Kirk Cousins just
Kyle
likes to give the ball away. He just gives the ball away to the other team.
He literally lost that game on their back entirely. We could have used that loss for the Chargers too. He 100% lost that game for them, and it's just so tough to see if you're a Falcons fan because you thought you're 1 quarterback away, and frankly, you're still 1 quarterback away. You didn't find the guy. That's the worst part about it.
Yeah. As we're speaking, the Lions are getting driven on right now. 3rd and 10 from the Lions 12. The Packers have the ball. Looks like they might be able to come away with a field goal, but I'm on the Vikings as well. Just with what Kirk did, it was not going to be. I mean, it's not a performance that puts a lot of faith in that team. So I'm on Skull. I'm with the Vikings. Next game up, Eagles and Panthers. This game is on here mainly because if the Eagles continue to win and if the Lions ever slip up just slightly a couple times, then it would go through the bank. And we saw what happened the last time the playoffs went through the bank. They were able to go all the way through. That's the last Super Bowl championship that they won. This should be business as usual, but the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young we saw it in person. They are still frisky. They're the biggest underdog, I believe, of this weekend, which, for good reason, because Philadelphia is a good team. But man, that is a team that they're just playing. And that's the scariest kind of team to play because they don't care if they win or lose. They're expecting to lose. But if they win and they beat the Eagles, who are this, second best team in the NFC, that would make their season. That would be the best thing that any of these guys do all year. So why not? Why not? No, I'm not going. Can't do it.
They're playing free football. They're playing free life football is what Carolina is doing. Because at this point, they said, Bryce Young, go win your job. Right? Go win your job because right now we're going to be drafting in the top 10. And frankly, there's going to be a quarterback out there possibility. Show us why we made the right decision in trading up for you, not last year, but 2 years ago. Tell us why. And he's done that. Obviously, almost beating almost beating Kansas City in Kansas City or at the end of the game. Wild, right? Almost like having all these good games where Bryce Young is throwing the ball for well, it really, really helps having Thielen back in the lineup because I think if you can get a legit number 1 receiver for Bryce Young, he does get a lot better. For instance, see what he did with Devontae Smith, who's on the opposite side of the field now at Alabama. Like he could prove into something else. But frankly, he is not facing a defense. He is not, the Broncos are a good defense, don't get me wrong, but the Eagles' defense is something that Carolina is not prepared for. It is the most physically demanding, punch you in the mouth defense that may be in the entire NFL. Jalen Carter, big boy out of Georgia the last couple of years, may be the best D tackle in football. I don't think that's even a tough conversation.
Trayvon Walker is no slouch right now either. He is killing it with them.
Like they have done a very excellent job of building that defense. So Trayvon Walker, I think, is the guy that's in
that's what I said.
No, Jalen Carter is the big.
They have another. They have another.
They have a couple of Georgia guys. Yeah, a couple of Georgia guys. I don't know all their names, but yes, they have Georgia built defense. They have the linebacker. I think it's Nolan something. I think it's maybe
Nakobe Dean.
Nakobe Dean. There it is. The middle linebacker for Georgia. It's a Georgia built defense. And then you have arguably the two best corners out of this draft on the same roster. Two rookie cornerbacks, and
Guantanamo Bay.
Guantanamo Bay, and then obviously Cooper DeJean is not my lover. Like he has done a fantastic job as being the second best crackerback in the NFL. Okay, second, probably argument for the best. Probably is. I'm just making a joke, but I think Bryce Young would be lucky to put up 10 points against
Jordan Davis is the big guy from Georgia. Jalen Carter is the other D lineman from Georgia. So we were both talking about the same guys, just put the wrong names to them.
Yes, big motherfuckers. Both them big motherfuckers that are just imposing their will on this defense and doing such a great job that the Eagles offense is just doing what they want, right? Like I said, Saquon Barkley's playing MVP type level. Philadelphia and Detroit have the argument of being the best teams in football. I think that if you're an Eagles fan, if you're a Lions fan, we're not picking a Buffalo game this week, but if I can throw Buffalo in this conversation, obviously I'll throw Kansas City in the conversation. If you're one of those four teams, you're having a strong thought that we can do this, that we can take this the whole way if we don't falter and get hot at the wrong time. Because like I said, the Eagles have won 5 in a row, 6 in a row now, whatever it's been. They're playing some of the best football they've obviously played the last couple of years. And it's a kudos to A, their defense, and kudos to B, Jalen Hurts and managing that offense so perfectly to a T.
Yeah. They're doing everything that they need to do, and Sirianni is limiting his impact on the game, and I think that's the best thing for the Eagles. So we're both on Philly. Now we're going to get to the games where we're a little bit different. Sunday Night Football, the Los Angeles Chargers under Jim Harbaugh, they're on a downward trajectory, but they beat the Falcons because Kirk Cousins threw those 4 interceptions. But they have not looked the same ever since that Sunday Night Football game against Cincinnati. Maybe this is the spark that they need. Kansas City is a 3.5-point favorite, so the Chiefs still get that little bit of a nod. It is at home in Arrowhead. Why are you going to pick against the team that you just hate the most? Why?
I hate both the teams the most.
I know you hate both these teams.
There's a conversation.
There's definitely I know you hate one team.
There's a hierarchy. It's Raiders 1. That's not even close. Number 2 is obviously the Chargers, and the Chiefs are number 3 because the Chiefs really were fucking piss poor for most of my life, frankly, and I couldn't give two shits about them. But now they're good, obviously, and I still have hatred toward them. I am picking the Chiefs here for a couple of reasons. One, at home. I think that I'll give them the edge at home. Sunday Night Football. Chris Collinsworth is going to have his dick on the fucking out on the podcast on the broadcast talking about Patrick Mahomes. He did everything he could in his rightful power to talk about him on every single fucking play that the Bills did in the snow game this past Sunday. Like Kansas City at home, and also the second factor in this, Chargers keep losing, it will help our seeding purposes, and we could, like I said, they lose this game, we're in a 3-way tie for the 5th seed, with Baltimore also having a bye this week. So it could play into our factor of helping us get a better seed in playoffs, where we don't have to go into Buffalo in the playoffs if we get to that point. We do not. So I will take the Chiefs at home here. They find ways. It's the old. They can't keep getting away with this meme where they really can't, but they are somehow, and the Chiefs will continue just to win games that they probably should.
I feel like the Chiefs, they are going to be well prepared for this game. What I said about Dan Campbell not slipping up in an in-division home game, it probably stands just as true, if not definitely more for Andy Reid. But I'm trying to pick my spots here. I do have 5 games that I need to make up, and this will probably end up costing me a perfect week. But I just right now it's going to be the Chargers for me. I think that's it. That's where I'm going.
Don't hate it. Like I said, I kind of need it for the Broncos purposes. That's what I'm just trying to do here. And it's weird saying I have to pick the team that's winning the division to win to help the Broncos, but unfortunately the Broncos are not winning the division. So we got to try to make up ground and try to get a better, hopefully 5 seed as opposed to a 4 seed, or playing the 2 seed. And the
then
4 seed post playing 2 seed. That's correct. That's how it's
4 seed instead of the 2 seed.
Yeah.
Wrapping things up, we have the special Simpsons broadcast going for the Bengals and Cowboys. This game probably was one of the games they tried to flex out, but they had already done all the animations for this one, so they were never going to move it. But the Bengals, 5.5-point favorites. I mentioned you on Talking the Gridiron. The text that I got, it was very factual, and I get it, and it still hurts me because I do still have those ties. I've talked about it. It's my ex-girlfriend. It's hard to get over it. I told you this defense was the worst defense in the NFL when I gave up the team. So get it. I got text from you. I got text from other people. There's text going all through the group chats that I'm in. I get it. I was the one that said it initially. You don't have to keep telling me. You don't. And it's like the 7th graders just constantly honing in, and they're bad. They're really bad. Yeah, they're god awful. Really, really terrible. And when you're playing against the defense with TJ Watt, who's going to be able to win a shootout by himself from the defensive side of the football, what else did we expect? I mean, what else do we really expect? I guess I didn't expect Russell Wilson to throw for 400 yards. I didn't think that our defense was that bad, but holy shit. This is just Logan Wilson was out. I will say that. Their best pass coverage linebacker was out.
I don't even know if that helps. I don't think that helps with it that much.
It helps. It helps because he's a really good player, but they would just.
So instead of giving up 40 points, you'll give up 30 points. It's a massive upgrade, I know. But like this,
if we scored 30 points in half, if we only give up 30 points in half our games, we're like leading our division and possibly in the 2 seed for the AFC.
I'm dead serious when I say this. Anarumo should get fired if the Cowboys put up more than 20 points this game. If Cooper Rush walks in and puts up 20-plus points on Monday Night Football against the Bengals, Anarumo should get fired. And we've defended Anarumo multiple times saying he's.
I really don't think that he's the issue, but at this point, he's the only. No, I know. I agree with you. I agree with you, but he's got to go at this point because there's nothing else that you can change. It's like what we were talking about with hockey. You can't get rid of any of the players because they suck talent-wise, so nobody's going to want them. And B, like, who else are you going to play? So you can't get rid of the players. You can get rid of the coach. You can put somebody else in there to call plays.
If Zach Taylor wants
it's literally the only issue. No,
if Zach Taylor wants to keep his job, he fires Anarumo if they lose to the Cowboys. The plain and simple. Because it's either him or him. Because Anarumo will be the interim head coach if you get fired. So it's either A, get rid of him and hope that you can save your job and that your defense fixes itself these last 4 or 5 weeks of the season that mean nothing because you're already basically out of the playoffs, or you fight for your life and your job is done. You're on the employment line next Tuesday. Like I have to believe the Bengals should win this game. The Cowboys suck. Okay, the Cowboys suck. They're so bad. They're so bad. The Cowboys are so fucking bad. Like they should not lose this game. I keep saying this every fucking week. The reason why I'm going to pick Cincinnati here is because I think that Joe Burrow could score 40 points before the Cowboys score 30. How about that? There's your reason why I think the Bengals are going to win. It's not a good reason. I don't love it, but there's my reason. I think that Joe Burrow can put up 40 points on this Cowboys defense, which isn't that bad, low key. They've done a decent job, especially holding Drew Lock in check on Thanksgiving. But like the other offense should not score more than 20. And if they score more than 20,
somebody will get fired. It'll be the wrong person. They might fire the offensive coordinator if they lose to Dallas.
This is a reoccurring theme, Jimmy, of me saying this every single week. If Zach Taylor loses this game, his job's done.
It's not. You didn't go through the years with this franchise. It's not, because guess what? Marvin Lewis lost the wild card playoff game every year, and he was never even on the hot seat. Mike Brown was literally like, what? Why would we fire him? He wins those 8 games.
It's just so crazy to me because we are 3 years now. Yeah.
This is the third. Yeah.
This is 30 years now removed now from a Super Bowl appearance. Where obviously
you had a very 2 years from an AFC championship run.
Exactly. 2 years from AFC championship run. And now this team is not even a wild card contender.
We got so many tiebreakers above us right now. Like we could literally win out, and we would only be 9-8 if we win out. But I said on Sunday, the Joe Burrow math. We just got to win 13 of our next 10 games, and we'll be right there in the playoffs. Like we'll be fighting for a wild card spot if we win 13 of the next 10. It's over. Everybody knows it's over.
Joe Burrow is so damn worried about Jamar Chase wearing sleeves that this team has so many damn problems. It's actually hilarious. That was another stupid thing that I saw, that he gets mad at Jamar Chase for wearing sleeves. This team doesn't have a practice facility that they don't have to walk across a actual live street where cars drive down every single day. I don't know. This is All I'll say is I'm glad you jumped on the right side of things. You didn't get to go through the shit of the Broncos, but you did get to go through the shit of the Bengals. So
I've
at
been
least,
through
at least, yeah.
a couple eras of shit. I've
So
dug my way.
all I'll say
I'm
is
Andy Dufresne out right now.
all
I'm trying to.
I'll say is this: don't you bring that bad juju on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you bring that bad juju back on the good side because
Do you think that I would actually?
you're wearing a Broncos hat and a Bengals sweatshirt. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't bring
Yeah.
that bad juju on us, Jimmy, because we've already had enough bad juju the last 8 years.
I feel like it's just finding me at this point. It's just following me. It's like my cellmate. It's like Bubba. Bubba just won't leave me alone. I'm going Cowboys because fading the Bengals has been a very effective strategy for me so far this year in the pick'em. So I'm going to stick with it. Might as well. I know that I'm wearing the double teams. I did that intentionally because I knew that it would mess with you. Last set of the game, and we actually of the not of the game.